It's okay to clap for Dr. Winterfeld. Good morning. Good morning. A live audience, isn't this the best? Welcome to Honors Weekend and this special convocation. We're so pleased that you can be with us today, either here in person in Christ Chapel or attending virtually for this hybrid Honors Convocation. As an academic institution, this is one of the most important weekends of the year. It's a time where we step aside from the day-to-day busyness and highlight and recognize the academic accomplishments and leadership of our students. For most of the year, the incredible teaching and scholarship that happens in the classroom does not have a public expression. During the year, our students are also leading and serving in incredible ways that benefit our campus and the broader community. Today, we are lifting up your excellent work and honoring our most outstanding students. Faculty, I thank you for your work this year in educating and inspiring these students, because we know that their accomplishments are closely linked to the guidance that you provide. Your passion and commitment to teaching are the foundation of this college. Especially during this past year, your creativity in finding ways to deliver an excellent Gustavus education and to provide support and inspiration to students, both in the classroom and online during this pandemic. These have been incredible and greatly appreciated. Thank you as well to the families of these students for the unconditional love, support, and encouragement you have provided for your Gustie this year and every year. We wish you could be with us today in person, but we're glad that you're joining us virtually to celebrate the accomplishments and leadership of your student that is the foundation of our mission here at Gustavus. Students, congratulations on your work and your many achievements. Thank you for the ways that you have preserved and enhanced the mission of the college. We appreciate the ways that you have kept the Gustie community strong, and we thank you for committing yourselves to achieving excellence. As we begin this ceremony today, I'd like to call on Chaplain of the College, Siri Erickson, to lead us in an invocation.
Today, take my mask off. Today, as we gather to honor the achievements, talents, and perseverance of our Gustavus students, we give thanks for the opportunities that we each have to think with free minds, to explore the depths of our curiosity, to ask our biggest and boldest questions about life and its meaning, and to give of ourselves for the betterment of our communities. Today, as we raise our hands in applause to celebrate all that our students have accomplished, we give thanks for the daily blessings of breath, bodies, and bread, which sustain our lives and make our work and our learning possible. Today, as we honor faculty who have dedicated their lives to the crafts of teaching, research, and mentoring, we give thanks for the abundant knowledge present in this community and for our collective advances in wisdom and understanding. May this day be filled with rejoicing, with wonder, and with gratitude. Amen.
It is now my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Margaret Block-Kazi, who will provide this morning's address. Dr. Block-Kazi is Associate Professor of Biology and recipient of the 2019 Edgar M. Carlson Award for Distinguished Teaching, the Gustavus faculty's highest honor for teaching excellence. A member of the Gustavus faculty since 2003, Dr. Block-Kazi teaches organismal biology, developmental biology, and entomology in both lecture and laboratory settings. She has been described by students as accessible, friendly, extremely patient, creative, and perhaps most impressively, as a professor who wants every single student to learn and be amazed by what they are learning. Dr. Block-Kazi received a bachelor's degree from Wellesley College and a PhD from Tufts University. She is deeply passionate about a liberal arts education and infusing science education with critical thinking, ethics, and learning in a cultural context, rather than simply memorizing facts. Outside of the classroom, Dr. Block-Kazi is currently serving as the John S. Kendall Center for Engaged Learning's Faculty Associate for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, a role through which she seeks ways that Gustavus can continue to grow the community that reflects the world's diversity in all its forms. Please join me now in warmly welcoming Dr. Margaret Block-Kazi.
Good morning. I'm grateful to be here and share my love of the living world and the liberal arts with you. The living world continuously surprises, engages, and occasionally befuddles me. As a biologist trained and practicing in a liberal arts tradition, I delight in the living world, particularly that part that has 6 legs and wings. I also delight in the language that's used to describe it. Perhaps in the next couple of minutes, we can delight in them together. First, what is an insect? Insects are small animals. They are crunchy on the outside. They are gooey on the inside. Their body is divided into 3 parts: a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. A description of some of these parts is provided by Mary Oliver. This grasshopper, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth rather than up and down, who is gazing around with her large and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. Oliver also introduces us to the thorax. Built for transportation, it generally contains 6 legs and 2 pairs of wings. Insect flight is remarkable. Some insects, like dragonflies and wasps, fly directly to their targets. Their power, speed, nimbleness are remarkable. But then there are the gentle flyers. In the words of Arakita Moritaki, fallen flower I see, returning to its branch. Ah, a butterfly. In late summer, monarch butterflies migrate 3,000 miles to their overwintering sites. There is a lesson here. One can be gentle and very strong. Insects are everywhere, from Antarctica to the Saharan desert. In the words of the entomologist Thomas Eisner, insects are not going to inherit the world. They own it now, so we might as well make peace with the landlord. Why do insects supposedly dominate the world? I have two words for you: size and sex. In the words of William Blake, to see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wildflower, to hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. Insects are small. This isn't Honey, I Shrunk the Kids small. This is a profoundly different way of interacting with the physical environment than we do. For their size, insects are disproportionately strong. You've probably seen an ant hauling an earthworm or a very large moth across a sidewalk. Gravity does not dominate their interactions with surfaces. They are able to climb up walls and across ceilings. While air is more viscous, that is, it's thick, for insects, they can easily take to the wing and move to greener pastures or escape a predator. In the insect world, a raindrop can be deadly. The surface tension sufficiently strong that if an insect gets caught in it, they may not be able to pull themselves out. Ultimately, their size enables insects to make a living in spaces that we might not even recognize, inside a stem of grass, between the layers of a leaf, under the bark of a tree. The insect world is full of a richness that we can easily miss, and there is a lesson here. Learning how others experience the world, often very differently than oneself, offers opportunities to more completely understand and delight in the world. On sex and abdomens. The third insect body part is the abdomen, perhaps my personal favorite part, and it's largely dedicated to reproduction. Insects reproduce frequently, abundantly, creatively, and unabashedly. Walt Whitman writes, "Urge and urge and urge, always the procreant urge of the world." Adult insects reflect this important function. Some only live a few days as adults, just enough time to mate and lay eggs before dying. Others don't eat or even have mouth parts. That's commitment. It seems really simple. Get two insects together so sperm and egg can be brought into close contact. How fancy does this really need to be? And yet, insects meet this challenge of reproduction in remarkably diverse and evolutionarily creative ways. Successful reproduction relies on collaboration and the exchange of information before, during, and after mating. It involves oddly shaped reproductive structures, internal contortions, and lots of behaviors. There's singing, there's dancing, there's gifting, there's eating, and sometimes there's some shoving. In fact, you don't have to look farther than your own kitchen to appreciate or bemoan this. Fruit flies, you know, those pesky things that rise up like a cloud from your bananas or your compost pile, and they drown in your lovely glass of red wine. Under optimal conditions, warm but not hot, moist but not wet, and a little bit of fruit that's just past its prime, a female will be able to reproduce 10 days after she herself was an egg. And she can lay up to 500 fertilized eggs over the next 14 days or so. Now you get why it sometimes seems that flies arise spontaneously out of food. Females hold a valuable resource in the eggs that they have constructed. To gain access to the eggs, males have to effectively communicate their suitability and availability to their mates. In the words of a beloved former colleague, Joyce Sutphin, "Now, finally, I'll write you a love song, or at least something we're both in, saying things that I should have said long ago, and you'll be happy to hear them. And finally, I know what we should do. I know the song. I'll sing it to you." Male fruit flies literally do a song and dance to achieve this. Males tiptoe around the female, they vibrate their wings, generating a song, and if the signals communicated are appropriate, and the female will allow the male to mate. The collaborative dance continues inside the female's body. Males transfer a cabal of molecules to the female along with the sperm. These compounds alter the female's body to promote male reproductive success. However, the female is not a passive vessel. Her reproductive tract is a complex physical and chemical landscape through which sperm must traverse before reaching an egg. She also shapes the outcome. And there is a lesson here as well. When you meet a challenge, perhaps one of the greatest challenges of our time, perhaps one of the greatest challenges of your life, meet it with creativity, invite collaboration, and communicate your message clearly. These are some of the very skills that your liberal arts education has and will continue to help you develop. Thank you very much for your time and your attention, especially on such a gorgeous day. Congratulations on your many achievements, and I wish you delight in the living world.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brenda Kelly, Provost and Dean of the College. I'm so happy to be here with you today. We are gathered here today, both in person and online, to recognize the accomplishments of our students. As a whole, the Gustavus student body consists of individuals who are in the top academic tier among all college students in this country. And among the 2,200 Gustavus students, the students that we are recognizing today are the Gustavus elite. Students, on behalf of the faculty, I thank you for your commitment to your academic pursuits and commend you for all of your accomplishments. We know that for many students, the support they receive from their family and friends is critical to their success. I would also like to take this moment to extend a special welcome to the parents, other family members, and friends who are watching virtually. You honor our Gustavus students by watching this service and for all the ways you support your student during the year. We also know that some students become so focused on their life at Gustavus that they may not offer their gratitude to family and friends who support their academic pursuits. Thus, we have started a tradition of appreciation at this convocation. It is not often that a faculty member tells you to text during a presentation, yet that is what I am inviting you to do right now. Students, I invite you now to take this moment to extend your own words of thanks to your family and friends for the ways they support you as a student. Take out your phones, text somebody, tell them thank you. And family and friends, I invite you to do the same. Please send a note to your student expressing your pride in their work and appreciation for their efforts during this challenging year. Descriptions of the particular awards, honor societies, or other recognitions are printed in your program, and I invite you to refer to it as I recognize the students. The first group of students we will honor today are those who have been invited to join Phi Beta Kappa. Student nominees, please come and line up across the front of the chancel, standing on the X marks on the floor. Due to space limitations and to maintain physical distancing, we will call this set of students forward in 2 groups. After each group comes forward, we will congratulate them with our applause. Hannah Mohammed Al-Hosawi, Hannah R. Borg, Kira C. Bauer. If you're in the room, go ahead and come on up. John R. Campisi, Abigail J. Karsten, Margot R. Clausen, Mitchell R. Donahue, Tira M. Erickson, Elena I. Giebel, Wyatt J. Gillette, Caitlin J. Gruber, Jordan M. Johnson, Emma G. Lohman, Madeline M. McDermott. Please join me in congratulating this group of students. Students, you may return to your seats, and we will now welcome forward the remaining Phi Beta Kappa honorees. Dylan M. McGregor, Marie C. Osuna, Emily M. Sari, Henry E. Santoman, Carolyn A. Schwartz, Rebecca M. Steffen, Sandesh Sukram, Nicholas W. Summers, Fengzi Sun, Aaron B. Tykro, Torben H. Erdahl, Riley R. Wintick, Gracie R. Willard. I invite all of you to recognize these outstanding students with your applause. Feel free to take your seats, students. We now recognize students who have received academic recognition from other national or state organizations. The following students were nominated or earned nationally competitive scholarships. On average, only about 5 to 10% of students nationwide earn such recognition. To be successful, Gustavus students spent many hours revising drafts, reflecting on experiences and goals, and discussing plans with references. Special thanks goes out to Pamela Kittleson, Professor of Biology and Fellowships Coordinator, who has guided many of these students through the application, interview, and selection process for these awards. Students, as I call your name, please come forward, standing on the marks on the floor, so that we can recognize you collectively with our applause. These award descriptions are found on pages 4 and 5 in your program. If you do not have a printed program, you may find it online at the Honors Weekend website. We will start with the Fulbright Scholarship. First, Quincy Yang was selected as a finalist. Quincy has chosen to teach English in Taiwan. As a geography major, Quincy is fascinated by the events that lead to lines being drawn on maps and how one's identity influences one's navigation of space. Because of his own experiences as a son of Hmong refugees and growing up in multi-ethnic St. Paul, Quincy has dedicated his life to helping others use their voice to affect change around issues of education, justice, and the environment. As a Gilman Alumni Ambassador at the Department of State and an emerging environmental leader at the Minnesota Environmental Quality Board, Quincy is committed to connecting marginalized voices, especially voices of color, with institutions of power to affect decision-making processes around international education and climate change. In addition to teaching English, Quincy is eager to engage with the Taiwanese through community gardening initiatives, learning Mandarin Chinese, and playing badminton. Emma Lohman was selected as an alternate finalist. Emma, a Spanish and Communication Studies double major, was named as alternate to Spain. Emma has tutored for the Spanish department and taught in 4-H. She intends to promote language learning by hosting meals and working in community gardens. While abroad in Spain and Argentina, she brought food to the homeless and spoke with youth who wanted to practice English and expand their economic opportunities. Emma has also been offered a position at Boom Lab as a project management associate, where she will be matched with a Fortune 500 company to help them with process and operational improvements. I will now introduce the 3 semifinalists. First is Susan Cook. Susan is a political science major with an emphasis in peace, justice, and conflict studies, who fell in love with Vietnam while studying abroad. While there, she taught English to Vietnamese students with disabilities. In her application, Susan proposed to share her experiences in Vietnam in her hometown of Ely, Minnesota, and share American culture by involving the community in dance, volleyball, and music. Susan hopes to apply a deeper understanding of Asia to her career in the State Department. Our next honoree, Pa Ying Lor, is not able to join us in person today, but I will tell you a little bit about them. Pa Ying is an elementary education major who has worked with multicultural English language learners for the past 6 years at Breakthrough Twin Cities. She started at Breakthrough as an intern in high school and was elected as a dean this past summer, where she helped the organization transition programming to online learning. She often drives 70 miles home to work or care for family, and yet she also finds time to volunteer. She maintains commitment to her classes, and she co-leads student organizations at Gustavus. In South Korea, Pa Ying intends to learn more about traditional Korean embroidery while sharing how Hmong embroidery tells stories about one's family and culture. Pa Ying's experiences in Fulbright will continue to build her career as a leader in the field of English language learning. Finally, I am pleased to recognize Samantha Raghu. Samantha is a sociology and anthropology major and was named as alternate to Thailand. While studying in Thailand as a Gilman Scholar, Samantha taught young Buddhist monks. She is keen to return and teach in a rural area because of the reduced availability of resources, and she wants to enhance self-determination among the peoples. She also wants to be immersed in the Thai language. As a person of color in predominantly white spaces, Samantha's upbringing and campus involvement in the Centers for Cultural and International Education and Inclusive Excellence speak to her skills as a cultural diplomat. Samantha's future goals include teaching secondary school and shaping policies that enhance access for underrepresented and international students. This summer, she will be the Education Assistant Coordinator for the Friends of the Bounty Waters Wilderness. I invite all of you to recognize these outstanding students with your applause. Thank you, students. We have 3 Gustavus nominees and 1 awardee for the prestigious Barry M. Goldwater Scholarship. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Students, please come forward as I read your name, and please remain up front until all awardees are recognized. First, we recognize awardee Caden Gunnarsson. Caden is not able to be with us in person today, but I will tell you a little bit about him. He is a double major in biochemistry and molecular biology and computer science. He has been applying these disciplines in Dr. Dwight Stoll's analytical chemistry research, where he aims to make data collection and analysis more efficient and effective. Specifically, he helped develop a flow splitting model, research that he subsequently shepherded to a publication in the Journal of Chromatography A. He has also given research presentations at regional and global science symposia. Caden is interested in pursuing a PhD where he will continue to apply computational sciences in areas from method improvement in analytical chemistry to modeling protein structure. 3 other nominees also rose to the top of the Goldwater applicants, in part due to their focused effort in the month of January on their applications. Chemistry major Matthew Fisher, who is not joining us in person today, was nominated based upon 3 years of analytical chemistry research. During that time, he continually added different skills to his research repertoire. Most recently, he developed methods for characterizing surfactants used in pharmaceutical experiments. This summer, Matt will work in analytical research and development for Merck. Alexandru Floria was nominated based on the research he has done in analytical chemistry and in physics. Alex has developed methods and models and studied changes in molecules as they shift to different phases. He is fascinated by the intersection of physics, biology, and chemistry, and intends to earn a PhD in biomedical engineering. This summer, he is interning at Mayo Clinic. Alex was also honored with the Rossing Physics Scholarship. Physics major Maya Langvenis was nominated because of her computational and experimental research in both physics and chemistry. Maya intends to pursue a PhD in medical physics related to developing imaging tools or nuclear medicine treatment protocols. Maya also earned the Rossing Physics Scholarship. Please join me in celebrating our Barry M. Goldwater Scholarship honorees. Thank you, students. We have 3 Gusty nominees and 1 finalist for the Truman Scholarship. Again, please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Students, please come forward as I read your names and remain up front until all awardees are recognized. Our finalist is Nathan M. Baring. A political science and biology major, Nathan was selected as a finalist for a Truman Scholarship because of his leadership on climate politics and his commitment to an equitable, clean energy transition in Alaska. Nathan is one of 21 plaintiffs in Juliana versus the United States, a lawsuit that argues the federal government is actively harming the fundamental rights of young people by contributing to anthropogenic climate change. Nathan has spoken at dozens of public and private engagements, which include rallies, interviews for local, national, and global media, government leaders, conferences, a U.S. Senate task force with Greta Thunberg, and in a feature-length documentary that premiered in 2020. As a co-plaintiff, he advocates a perspective as both a resident of an Arctic climate and one of the nation's most oil-dependent states. Nathan's leadership over the past 4 years has shown a balance of personal action and collaboration, humility and outrage, savvy knowledge of the system, as well as compassion for those who lack access to the system. In addition to being a Truman finalist, Nathan was awarded the UDALL Award. Next, I will call forward the 3 Truman Scholarship nominees. First, Astrid Axtman. A management major, Astrid was nominated for her commitment to service, education, and leadership development, primarily via her work in North Dakota's 4-H programs and her nonprofit, Busy Hands. She has developed STEM curricula, traveled to 4-H clubs across the state, led in-person and virtual summer camps, and organized a statewide youth conference. For the latter, she developed ways to incorporate technology prior to COVID, which allowed her team to transition the conference online and to actively engage North Dakota's youth. At Gustavus, she has been elected to Student Senate, the Investment Club, and Women in Leadership. Her long-term goals are to work at the intersection of private corporations, nonprofits, or government. Political science major Ben Menke's leadership on campus started with water, a simple compound critical to life. He lobbied for funding to add more water stations in the dorms. This straightforward issue flamed Ben's interests in the intersection of government and policymaking. With the Gustavus Voter Engagement Team, Ben's team won the Democracy Shark Tank contest to promote voter engagement, and he helped identify ways to improve student turnout at the polls while clarifying regional issues or eligibility for mail-in ballots. Ben's goal is to work for the Natural Resources Defense Council as a lawyer, affecting change via environmental policy and advocacy, and it all started with water. Finally, Christopher Ortiz is a member of the Diversity Leadership Council. Chris also worked on the voter engagement team, reaching out to 16 campus organizations to discuss low voter turnout among Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and to find avenues to promote inclusive voting outcomes. Chris is from an area of Los Angeles populated by communities of people from over 30 nations. When his study abroad semester was canceled, he volunteered at his neighborhood elementary school, cleaned parks, and continued his job in a Koreatown tea shop. The services he extends to his neighbors and elementary classes are congruent with his interest in providing access to resources, whether the resources are a safe education, a role model, a translator, or a clean, open gathering space. I invite all of you to recognize these outstanding students with your applause. Thank you, students. Next, we recognize Jada Lynn Till as a recipient of a Critical Language Award in Mandarin Chinese. History major, Jada, learned Mandarin at the Concordia Language Villages, where she also has been a counselor. At Gustavus, she has taken every opportunity to learn more about Chinese culture and language, Despite the lack of Chinese language courses and the fact that her semester in Malaysia was cut short due to COVID, she started the Chinese Culture Club on campus. This spring, Jada is finishing her senior thesis on identity negotiation among transnational adoptees who return to their birth country and meet their birth family. She looks forward to gaining more fluency in Mandarin and applying it to her career in nonprofit development focused on international education and uplifting Asian American communities. Please join me in congratulating Jada. The next award is the UDALL Undergraduate Scholarship in the Environment. Gustavus is very pleased to have 2 awardees, which were announced after the program went to print, and 2 nominees. Please come forward as I read your name and hold your applause until all 4 students are recognized. Nathaniel M. Baring was named an awardee of the UDALL Scholarship. In addition to what I shared about Nathan when he was introduced with the Truman honorees, I will add that as part of his work, he has served Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski, Democratic Alaska State Representative David Gutenberg, and interned at Alaska Legal Services Corporation, a low-income legal aid service. Nathan intends to pursue graduate study in sustainable development, weaving together law and rural grant writing knowledge to support new growth opportunities for his home state of Alaska. Kendra Held was also named an awardee of the UDALL Scholarship. She describes transitioning from a dormant citizen to developing a career in sustainability because of a first-year class on climate change and successful grassroots movements. That semester, she and dozens of other students organized Groundswell, a day of action that began with a climate action march and concluded with being invited to faculty and president's cabinets meetings. Always a collaborator, Kendra, with 2 other students, helped develop key performance indicators to measure Gustavus's strategic goal to, quote, implement environmental stewardship and sustainability principles and practices across the college, unquote. They developed 30 metrics to measure progress. She will continue to work on sustainability at Gustavus this summer. Kendra has also helped the Environmental Action Council support resistance efforts for the Enbridge Line 3 pipeline. Kendra aspires to guide cities and states toward their climate mitigation goals by championing energy conservation strategies in urban planning and transportation, and as a liaison between government, corporate, and nonprofit actors. The first of the nominees for the UDALL Scholarship is Colin Carlson. Colin was nominated for his work in promoting scientific and environmental education via outreach, discussions, and presentations. Colin has presented geochemistry research he has pursued with Dr. Jeff Jeremiason, specifically explaining the fluxes of dissolved organic carbon and lead in peatlands. He has also worked as a sustainability intern to oversee the completion of a tracking and rating system for Gustavus, which is an assessment for colleges to maintain sustainability performance, including social, economic, and environmental dimensions. As a student greenhouse manager, he has been instrumental in promoting plant science education with a labeling project that allows anyone to scan a QR code, which links to a website that he has developed containing information about the plant. This summer, Colin will continue his research and sustainability work at Gustavus. After graduation, he intends to pursue a career in natural resource management to help agencies broadcast research and incorporate diverse stakeholders' perspectives into management plans. Finally, it is a pleasure to introduce Aviva Meyerhoff. Aviva was nominated for a UDALL Award because of her activism, leadership, and critical role as a communications liaison between students, staff, and administrators on campus related to sustainability initiatives. Aviva has hosted climate workshops and conversations about climate in faith communities across Minnesota. She has served as co-president of the Environmental Action Coalition, and with Kendra and Colin, she has developed the key performance indicators for the Gustavus Acts strategic plan. Last summer, Aviva did research on and advocated for sustainable building using innovative wood project construction. This summer, she will work as an organizing fellow for Divest Ed, a training and strategy hub for campus divestment campaigns. Aviva intends to become a city sustainability coordinator, as well as gain foundational experience as a senior campaign representative for the Sierra Club's Beyond Coal campaign. Please join me in congratulating these students. We will next introduce the nominees for the Rossing Physics Scholars. First, we recognize Maya Langvenis, who was named as a 2020 awardee. You have already heard a bit about Maya as part of the Goldwater Scholarship introductions. This honor acknowledges research that Maya conducted to ascertain if a printed circuit board antenna was capable of mid-range wireless power transfer. The 2021 nominees are Caitlin Espy. Caitlin is a sophomore from White Bear Lake, Minnesota. Last summer, she received a Gustavus First-Year Research Experience grant to work on campus with Dr. Tom Huber doing ultrasound research. Alexandru Floria, I would invite you forward again and recognize you as a recipient of the Rossing Physics Scholarship as well. Alexandru is a junior from Sartell, Minnesota, who was also introduced as part of the Goldwater Scholarship team. Zane Michael, who is not with us in person today, is a junior from Ashland, Ohio. Zane spent last summer also doing ultrasound research with Dr. Tom Huber and was funded by a grant from the National Science Foundation. Anna Zalishvili is a junior from the country of Georgia. Last summer, she worked on campus with Dr. Chuck Niederreiter on high-altitude muon studies. I invite all of you to recognize these outstanding Rossing Physics Scholars with your applause. Next, we will recognize 5 individual award winners. Students, please come forward as I read your names and remain up front until all 5 are recognized. First, we acknowledge Haley Yostis as a recipient of a DAAD RISE Scholarship. Haley is a sophomore chemistry and biochemistry and molecular biology double major. She earned this German research internship in science to study clay organic nanocomposites and how they can be used to improve water quality related to health. At Gustavus, Haley also has been involved in several research projects related to water and in Dr. Jeff Jeremiason's environmental chemistry lab. Haley is excited both about furthering her research as well as speaking German daily and building deeper connections with her extended family who reside in Germany. Next, I invite forward Alexander Nielsen, the nominee for the Boren Award. Alex is a major in history, as well as in Russian and Eastern European studies. In his Boren application, Alex argued that by becoming more fluent in Russian, he could continue to contribute to U.S. national security. Specifically, Alex will graduate as a commissioned officer in the Army, and he intends to serve in the military for 20 years, possibly working as an intelligence officer. The National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship awardee is Caitlin Gruber. Chemistry and biochemistry and molecular biology double major, Caitlin has conducted research since her first year, where she spent the summer characterizing how an herbicide used in corn cultivation degrades in the environment. Caitlin also earned a DAAD RISE Scholarship in 2019 to conduct summer research in Germany on this same system. Over 4 years, Caitlin's research has evolved from learning new methods to designing new methodologies, from being mentored to training other undergraduates in Dr. Amanda Nenau's lab and mentoring students in STEM overall. Caitlin intends to advance green chemistry research related to agriculture by earning a PhD at the University of Wisconsin. I invite Christopher Ortiz to return forward to be honored as the recipient of the Public Policy and International Affairs Junior Summer Institute Scholarship. In addition to what you heard about Chris as part of the Truman Scholarship, I will also share that academically, Chris has combined his interests in Model UN, civic engagement, and debate with his political science major. Chris also was awarded a MITEX Fulbright internship for this summer, but declined that award to participate in the Public Policy International Affairs Junior Seminar Institute. Finally, the recipient of the Asian Pacific American Institute for Congressional Studies Congressional Fellowship is Quincy Yang. You heard a bit about Quincy as part of the Fulbright Scholarship introductions. In addition to that honor, he was also one of 7 persons nationwide to win the Asian Pacific American Institute for Congressional Studies Congressional Fellowship. Following his time teaching English in Taiwan, Quincy will go to Washington, D.C. for this fellowship, where he intends to work in offices focusing on climate, especially climate migration. Please join me in congratulating this group of students. Now I invite Dr. Jonas Van Hecke, who serves as the college's Dean of Students and Vice President of Student Life, to introduce the next group of honorees.
I'm pleased to recognize Holly Fitterer as the recipient of the Minnesota Campus Compact President's Award for Civic Engagement. Holly is a classics and Latin teaching major from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Holly has held many leadership positions on campus and has given much time to the Community Engagement Center, serving as a multi-year coordinator for Big Partner, Little Partner program and the Angel Tree program. Among other involvements, she has served as a collegiate fellow, the president of Eta Sigma Phi Honor Society in Classics, a GAIN mentor, and the chaplain of the Gustavus Choir. Holly's contributions on campus earned her the Schwam-Brostrom Award for Service in 2020, and later she'll be recognized again as a recipient of the Magnuson Award. Congratulations, Holly. The next group of students will be recognized in 2 college-sponsored honor groups. The Guild of St. Anscar. The first group consists of the new members of the Guild of St. Anscar. Due to space limitations and to maintain physical distancing, we'll again call the students forward in 2 groups. After each group comes forward, we'll congratulate them with our applause. Students, please come forward as I read your name. Ellie G. Anderson. Kyra Bauer. Amanda Braun. Haley D. Concepcion. Evelyn Doran. Emma E. Fisher. Holly A. Fitterer. Gabriella Chase Gary. Wyatt J. Gillette. Ava Kathleen Gross. Stella D. Hagianis. Ava R. Hansen. Jocelyn G. Jaimez. Jordan Marie Johnson. Lauren K. Johnson. Please join me in congratulating this group of students. Students, you can return to your seats and we will welcome forward the remaining Guild of St. Ansgar members. Emma G. Lohman, Alyssa J. Luecki, Ashley L. Neuenfeld, Casey R. Olson, Maria C. Osuna, Paige Ellen Patterson, Catherine M. Roten, Henry E. Sandelman, Caroline A. Schwartz, Corinne Gail Stremmel, Bethany L. Tennis, Torben H. Erdahl, Macy L. Vossen, Amber R. Wolfinger. Let's give them a round of applause. Next, we will recognize the Guild of St. Lucia. Students in the Guild, come forward as your name is being read. Hold your applause until all names have been read. Lily Eileen Engebretson. Alexis Wendell Fleming. Kendall Marie Harvey. Kendra Marie Held. Megan K. Hensel. Brianna Elizabeth Hogsted. Melanie Kisnasamy. Anya M. Menk. Aviva E. Meyerhoff. Mackenzie May Meest. Audrey Levina Marie Oaktrup de Carroll. Regina Olono Fidelis. Lindsay R. Paulson. Sydney J. Strummy Berg. Megan Marie Zamo. Join me in congratulating the Guild of St. Ansgar. Next, we recognize college-sponsored awards. We will begin with the winners of the Magnuson Award. Magnuson Award winners, please come forward as your name is read, and audience, hold your applause until all students have been recognized. Amanda Braun is a senior political science, gender, women, sexuality studies, peace, justice, conflict studies triple major from Bloomington, Minnesota. Amanda has held the last 4 years in multiple leadership positions on campus. This past year, they served as one of the co-chairs for Building Bridges, parliamentarian for the Student Senate, secretary for the Diversity Leadership Council, co-facilitator of the Radicals, Women's Action Coalition president, and is supervisor in the Center for Inclusive Excellence. Amanda has also been a member of the Pi Sigma Alpha and the Guild of St. Lucia. Next, I invite Holly Fitterer to return. Holly was recognized earlier as the recipient of the Minnesota Campus Compact President's Award for Civic Engagement. We are so very pleased to add her name to the Magnuson Award as one of her list of honors. Lawrence Hikwana is a senior physics major from Douvers Grove, Illinois, and is in attendance virtually today. Lawrence has contributed to the Gustavus community through leadership as a Gusty greeter, Student Athletic Advisory Committee, the Society for Physics Students. Lawrence helped to lead the Gusty greeter training and first-year orientation as one of the co-coordinators. He's also helped to bring a number of social justice efforts to the athletic department through SAC. In addition to being a member of the men's tennis team, he's also volunteered in the Big Partner, Little Partner program and with Inner City Tennis. He was recently selected as the commencement speaker for the class of 2020. Ingrid Kubisa is a senior political science major with a double major in African studies, as well as peace, justice, and conflict studies. Ingrid is originally from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, but now resides in Minnetonka. This academic year, Ingrid has taken her skills in leadership on campus by serving as co-president of the Pan-African Student Organization, co-president of the Multi-Faith Leadership Council, co-president of the French Club, Sorry Hall Collegiate Fellow, a member of the class of the 2021 Senior Class Legacy Committee, and a preaching intern for the chaplain's office. She's also contributed her time and talent to the Diversity Leadership Council, the Gustavus Academy for Faith, Science, and Ethics, Big Partner, Little Partner, Phonathon, an academic assistant in African Studies, and, by the way, is also a French tutor. Among all of these, in addition to all of these individuals, we'll also recognize 4 groups. The Campus Activities Board is first. Representing CAB, I invite Katie Ashpole and Allie Granholm. The Campus Activities Board strives to create entertaining, engaging, and educational events for a campus-wide audience. This year, CAB stood tall as a beacon for creating campus involvement under the challenges created by the pandemic. They had to reimagine how to do their work in totally new ways and create the new executive positions to facilitate virtual events. This school year, CAB hosted in total 58 in-person events and virtual events for the Gustavus student body. Next, representing Ignite, I'd like to invite forward Regina Videlas and Stella Hagianis. Empowering young women and inspiring Gusties, Ignite has had its first year of experience attracting a bold and diverse cohort committed to civic education, political training, work opportunities, and social justice. The local chapter of this national organization has not only transformed women's leadership on this campus, but has also allied with other student groups to advocate for women's rights, reproductive freedom, and Black Lives Matter. The ambitions of Ignite are high, and as their ability to make this vision for a more equitable Gustavus has been a reality. Representing the community carnival are Holly Fitterer, Maria Osuna, and Bethany Tennis. Student leaders from the 10 service learning programs on campus sponsored by the Community Carnival student leaders sponsored the Community Carnival SNL, which stands for Saturday Night in Lund, as a way to raise awareness for their programs while giving back to the community. As one of the first in-person SNLs of the year, it provided COVID-safe, socially distanced, volunteer-oriented activities such as creating cards for residents, nursing homes, home art for Habitat for Humanity homes, tie blankets for the Gustavus St. Peter Partner for Housing Shelter, and dog toys for Kind Vet Clinic. Over 80 Gusties attended and enjoyed various carnival games, including cornhole, inflatable axe throwing, and basketball Connect 4. All involved demonstrated the importance and dedication students have to Gustavus' core values of community and service. And our final Magnuson Award winner, Building Bridges. We will recognize Chelsea Boyden and Amanda Braun. Revolutionizing Tomorrow, Envisioning a World of Collective Liberation, the 26th annual Building Bridges Conference was live-streamed on March 6th, drawing in over 2,000 viewers. Featured guests included spiritual advisor Olakemi and Black Lives Matter co-founder Opal Tometi, with special performances from students and workshop presentations from grassroots activists. The theme of this year focused on collective liberation and radical joy in an attempt to inspire renewed hope in times overwhelmed with despair. Over 100 Gustavus and non-Gustavus students were involved in the making of the conference, creating a totally virtual event, adding additional challenges through which Chelsea and Amanda did an incredible job navigating. Please join me in congratulating all of these outstanding student leaders, groups, and events. Now we'll recognize the recipients of the Avonleague, Schwam-Brostrom, and Van Dusen Awards. Please come forward as I call your name and hold applause until all 3 students are recognized. The Avonleague Award. The recipient of the Avonleague Award is Zachary Komarinsky. Zach has been a fixture in the Queers and Allies organization since his first semester at Gustavus. Zach has served as treasurer and this past year as president of the organization. In his tenure as on the Q&A executive board, Zach revitalized group membership base, coordinated logistics for many group initiatives, assisted or led several campus events, including Coming Out Week and the Pride Parade. Zach is a frequent speaker about LGBTQ+ issues and advocates in the community for bringing further life to the stresses and discrimination that the LGBTQ community faces throughout the world. The Schwam-Brostrom Leadership in Faith and Service Award recipient is Ayman Zara. Ayman is an international student from Pakistan and has devoted much of her time at Gustavus to promoting an inclusive campus culture that celebrates and serves the needs of students from diverse religious and cultural backgrounds. Not only has she co-chaired the Diversity Leadership Council, she's also served as the co-president for the Muslim Student Association. As the Crossroads CF in the International Center, she has hosted many Crossroad table events that brought in cultural student organizations to share their traditions with the residents. In these roles, she has modeled a dual focus on positive engagement with her own religious and cultural community and supported those from different backgrounds and cultures. Her work has made Gustavus a more welcoming place for international and domestic students of all religions, worldviews, and traditions. Finally, we're pleased to recognize additionally, we're recognize Carlos Balbueno as the recipient of the Schwam Leadership Award for Service. We received permission to include Carlos in the program after the program went to print, but we're so pleased to introduce him here. Carlos is a senior Latin American Latinx Caribbean Studies major from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Beyond his commitment to his academics, his family, and personal obligations, he's passionate and engaged with the Latinx community. 2 years ago, he partnered with the St. Peter Free Clinic as a volunteer interpreter working with the patients and medical staff. He continues this work even when the clinic needed to go virtual and consistently offered professional service while mediating for patients' needs. Carlos is dedicated to working toward diminishing health disparities via interpretation. He's also advocated for the Latinx community in the Twin Cities, where he served as a research intern for the Hispanic Advocacy and Community Empowerment through Research organization. Finally, I wish to recognize the recipient of the R. John Van Dusen Award, Amanda Braun. You've already learned a little bit about Amanda as part of the Magnuson Award. In addition, I would add that Amanda has a medical condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder causing frequent dislocations, chronic pain, heart and eyesight issues. They also deal with narcolepsy and other comorbidities. Over their 4 years, Amanda has done so much more than just persevere. They entered fully into all that Gustavus has to offer, finding their passion for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and developing connections with professors and peers while living each day with medical conditions that could have easily kept them from coming to college at all. Please join me in congratulating all of these amazing students.
Endowments have been established to support the next 2 awards for the highest grade point averages earned by junior and senior students. These endowments provide a prize for the 250 Years of Struggle and Song, a Library of America anthology edited by Kevin Young. The Gerhardt Alexis Award winners may now come forward as I call your name. The winners of the Gerhardt T. Alexis Scholars Award for juniors who have earned a cumulative GPA of 4.0 are Lillian R. Anderson, Claire A. Bratland, Nicholas A. Dahl, Lucy A. Dolan, Reagan M. Larson, Benjamin W. Menke, Emma N. Nelson, Justin J. Portner, Madeline G. Sandish, Carolyn A. Schwartz, Sanjita Tusran Shutrishna, Hannah J. Tengwal. Please recognize the accomplishments of these students. Now we call forward the winners of the Albert G. Swanson Scholars Award for seniors who have earned a cumulative GPA of 4.0. These students are Aiden J. Dalside, Vanessa L. Dimmick, Rose E. Erdmans, Kelly A. Montgomery, Ashley L. Neuenfeld, Jessica M. Strobush, Congratulations to these outstanding seniors. Next, we recognize students who have served this year as departmental academic assistants. Many faculty and administrative assistants say that the departmental academic assistants are critical to the success of the department. The nature and scope of work varies for our academic assistants, from helping faculty with specific courses, work on departmental projects, serving as a resource to students, providing student input on departmental decisions, conducting research, or coordinating the departmental tutoring program. These students are selected by the departmental faculty for their proven academic ability, leadership, and commitment to the department. The students are listed on page 8 of your program. Those who are academic departmental assistants are primarily watching this service remotely. Thank you for your dedication and hard work, especially during this challenging year. We thank you and applaud your efforts. Now we recognize a large number of students who had earned a cumulative grade point average of 3.7 or better by the end of January term 2021. These students have been named to the President's Honors List. Their names are printed on pages 9 through 11 in your program. Maintenance of a 3.7 GPA is a significant accomplishment at Gustavus. Our students are encouraged to dive into all aspects of the college. Most students participate in a multitude of co-curricular activities, along with their academic activities. Sometimes these activities are at odds with one another, especially in how a student has to balance and distribute their time. Among the students on the President's Honor List, we have athletes and musicians, members and leaders in student organizations, students who volunteer in the community, students who are employed on or off campus. Plus, as a residential college, a student's life needs to include time for fun and relationships. Our Honors List students have found a way to manage all aspects of college life while maintaining a high level of academic achievement. This is a major accomplishment. Most of those on the President's Honor List are joining us remotely today. We are glad that you are part of this ceremony and commend your hard work. Congratulations. We celebrate your accomplishments through our applause. Many of our academic departments and programs also have scholarships or awards. Faculty choose these student recipients based on merit, so these awards represent the highest honors granted by each department. The recipients, together with brief descriptions of the particular award, scholarship, honor society membership, or competition, are part of the program. Please take a moment to review this incredible list of awards and student recipients on pages 12 through 19 in your program. Students, even though we don't have time to name you individually during this program, in being chosen for a department or a program award, Gustavus faculty extend their highest praise for you and your academic work. You are among a short list of the most outstanding students from your major or minor. On behalf of your departmental faculty, thank you for your hard work, creativity, and commitment to your academic success. Please know that you inspire your faculty, and we are so grateful for your efforts, especially with the added challenges of learning during a pandemic. This group of honorees is mainly watching virtually. Please join me in congratulating this group of honorees. Now turning toward faculty awards, we will now present the 2021 Gustavus Faculty Scholarly Accomplishment Award. Every year, members of the Gustavus faculty produce scholarly work that is published in highly ranked journals, is presented at national and international conferences, and work that contributes to the shared body of knowledge that moves our world forward in pursuit of truth and wisdom. The scholarly achievements of our professors also inform their classroom teaching and collaborations with our students, deeply enriching the liberal arts education that we offer at Gustavus. Each year, the Faculty Scholarly Accomplishment Award is given to a member of the Gustavus faculty who embodies the highest standards of research, scholarship, and creative achievement. The award is the highest accolade that a Gustavus faculty member can achieve for their distinguished scholarly accomplishments. I am pleased to announce that the winner of the 2021 Faculty Scholarly Accomplishment Award is Dr. Maddalena Marinari, Associate Professor in the Department of History and the Gender, Women, and Sexuality Studies program. Let's give Dr. Marinari a round of applause. And now I'll tell you about her amazing accomplishments. Dr. Marinari's research focuses on the historical restriction and mobilization of immigrant populations. She is the author of Unwanted: Italian and Jewish Mobilization Against Restrictive Immigration Laws, 1882 to 1965, and a co-editor of A Nation of Immigrants Reconsidered, U.S. Society in an Age of Restriction, 1924 to 1965. She is frequently quoted in media coverage of immigration issues, and her research expertise has contributed to stories by outlets such as Public Radio International, MinnPost, and The Washington Post. In the last year, Dr. Marinari's research has explored the experiences of immigrant, refugee, and other marginalized communities during the COVID-19 pandemic, a project that was awarded a Rapid Response Grant by the Social Science Research Council. In partnership with the University of Minnesota's Immigration History Research Center, the project is one of 62 across the globe and one of the only to involve undergraduate students to be recognized with a grant by the SSRC. This year, Gustavus students Kat Lim and Lily Ortloff have worked with Dr. Marinari on this project, which has resulted in the opportunity for the students to present their research multiple times, including earlier this week at the University of Minnesota's Emerging Immigration Histories of the Pandemic panel. Dr. Marinari was recently named the winner of the Minnesota Campus Compact's Civic Engagement Leadership Award, which recognized her for describing, quote, Connections Between Past Immigration Policies and Our World Today, most recently the impact of COVID-19 on marginalized communities in Minnesota, especially recent immigrants and refugees," unquote. Please join me again in recognizing Dr. Madalena Marinari as the 2021 winner of the Gustavus Faculty Scholarly Accomplishment Award. Please welcome Student Senate Co-President Evelyn Doran for the presentation of the 2021 Swenson and Bunn Memorial Award for Teaching Excellence.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Evelyn Doran, and I'm one of the co-presidents of Student Senate this year. Every year, the Student Senate has the distinct joy of awarding the only honor given to the faculty by the student body, the Swenson Bunn Memorial Award for Teaching Excellence. This award, named for Greg Swenson and Holly Bunn, two Student Senate members that died tragically in a car accident in 1989, has been awarded annually on Honors Day since 1990. Previous award winners have included Haley Russell, Rebecca Fremo, and Brandon Dean, among many others, and all award winners have stood out for their commitment to the lives and academic experiences of Gusties. It stands to reason, then, that each year we have a hard task ahead of us, as we try to find one faculty member that most embodies the ideals of teaching excellence. This year, we received over 70 nominations and were wowed by the incredible care, mentorship, and advocacy that each nominee demonstrated. But as we deliberated over who our recipient would be, one nominee clearly stood out. In the words of one of the nominations, this professor, quote, "exudes everything I want to be when I grow up: compassionate, dedicated to justice, an advocate to students, and kind." She is simply that, kind. We also found through our nomination process that this professor is dedicated to the whole lives of their students. Beyond the classroom, this professor advises many student organizations like Ignite and Students for Reproductive Freedom, serves on the leadership team of Indivisible St. Peter Mankato, an organization dedicated to nonpartisan progressive political action and empowerment, and works to connect with students outside of the classroom, prioritizing their well-being and whole identity, not just the side of themselves that they bring to class. Further, this professor is dedicated to the experience within class time as well, constantly working to ensure that their courses combat the historical prejudices of academia and instead reflect the wide diversity of experiences of marginalized voices, creating a richer liberal arts education. Because of these qualities and so much more, I am proud to present Misty Nicole Harper with the Swenson Bunn Award for Excellence in Teaching on behalf of the entire Gustavus student body.
For those of you that are here in Christ Chapel, I invite you to stand for the closing benediction. Receive this blessing. May we never give up on our quest to discover what is true and honorable and just. May we nurture kindness and compassion for self, others, and even enemies. And may we build each other up so that together we might employ the full force of our passion and our power for the common good of all humanity and for the flourishing of this earth, our shared home. Amen. You may be seated.
So thank you, everyone, for being part of this 2021 Honors Convocation. For those of you watching online, we are so glad that you joined us. And we, of course, hope that next year we can all be together here in Christ Chapel. An archive of this service will remain on the Honors Weekend webpage, so please share that link to those who were unable to attend. For everyone here in the chapel, we ask that you leave through the side or the main doors, whichever door is closest to you. And of course, please remember that we're keeping physical distancing at all times while you're leaving. Being a college student during a global pandemic has provided endless new and difficult challenges for all of us. This makes the achievements that we are recognizing today even more notable and special. Students, on behalf of the faculty and the staff, on behalf of your friends and family, we once again applaud your incredible achievements throughout the year. Let's applaud once more for everyone who's been named today. May you all continue to remain safe and healthy. And students, may you continue your hard work and your commitment to achieving excellence. Thank you again for being here with us today. Off we go to your next thing, and go Gusties.